Hello, and welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of August 28th. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
Previously on this podcast, we chatted about what parents were talking, complaining, and obsessing about each week, and brought you short daily episodes. But these days, we bring you a weekly episode to talk about parenting in a more roundabout way. So today, you had a special visitor this week, right, Catherine?
I did.
Here in Wisconsin?
It was very exciting. It was our own Nicole Eridix.
Nicole!
Her job that caused her to have to cut back on podcasting actually brought her here to Wisconsin. So
yay for that.
That was thrilling. We got to have dinner together and just kind of catch up a little bit on what's going on with her.
Nice.
So it was really, really fun.
I had the opportunity to do that a few times when Nicole came out to New Jersey and or thereabouts. And it's nice to see in person somebody you've mostly only known for many, 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 many years online.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, you're an actual human. You're very tall. Did you feel that too? And were you looking up to Nicole like...
I was definitely looking up to
I knew theoretically that you were tall. I just never quite thought about it.
Yeah. It's wild how you can, feel really close to someone who you just almost never see in person.
That's right.
So she misses us. She misses getting the chance to talk every week. But we spent probably 3.5, 4 hours together. So we caught up as much as we could, and it was really great.
Did you share with her some of the unique cuisine of Wisconsin?
I did, and she will tell you herself about that.
Really?
Yes, because we have a message from her.
Guess who's with me right now?
Hello, it's Nicole here.
Yay, Nicole!
Yay. I'm in Wisconsin.
Nicole traveled all the way to Wisconsin. And we got to have dinner.
Catherine. Yes. Catherine took me to a supper club, which was amazing. I literally had the best steak and potato and salad bar ever.
She
it was
ate
so good.
The salad bar.
I did.
Everyone.
Are you still in shock? Yeah, and I had quite a big plate of salad, so I was pretty proud of myself. And an old-fashioned, which was really good.
Right.
Yeah.
It's required when you come to Wisconsin.
And I got to see where Catherine lives, which is super exciting because I hear about all of her adventures, and now I get to put a place, I have something in mind. So, yeah, but it was so fun to catch up with Catherine because I miss you all. So I really appreciate this opportunity.
Yay.
It's nice hearing from Nicole. I guess it's not that different from how I always heard from Nicole, which was through the internet. Although she can't talk back to me now if I say something or hear me laugh. But anyway, we miss her. I'm glad you were able to see her. Yeah. And, that we're able to include her, get another little podcast bit from her.
That's right.
Every so often, Nicole, just, send us a little voice recording. And it'll be almost like you're here.
That's right.
Except not. Well, speaking of missing people, on...
We're glad you're not dead, Nicole.
Yes. But, like Only Murders in the Building, we thought Cinda Canning was no longer on this show, but of course she's going to come back. So, hi, Cinda. She's now peddling lifestyle type nonsense.
Yeah, I don't know if she's selling it or she just is using it as a means to get herself uncanceled from, apparently she was canceled from her employee killing somebody. I'm not quite sure how that was her fault, but
it's complicated. But was that supposed to be a podcast she was doing where she was talking about all the
Yeah, the like self-care
things that she had been doing
doing
to find personal.
Yeah, unclear.
Or did Tina Fey just want to say all that stuff because it was fun?
Right.
You go, girl.
She did. She said it was a placeholder for when she can get back to her true love, which is murder.
And she wants Bloody Mabel to be her way back into that.
That's right.
And Mabel is no thank you, even though money is something that would be nice if a one-room white apartment is $4,800 a month.
Yes, the name of the episode was The White Room, and there was a little misdirect because we saw Mabel looking at this studio apartment that was just a small white box. But the real White Room was Charles having these like dissociations where his stage fright was so bad that he went in his mind to this white room.
Yes.
Multiple times.
While in the real world, disastrous things were happening.
Right, which we were not privy to because we could only see him in the white room.
And because it's so much fun to just make the joke what things look like after he comes to.
Right. Everyone is like pale and their mouths are hanging open, and Howard says, "Excuse me, I need to call my therapist."
It turns out to be his cousin who works at State Farm.
State Farm.
Yeah, that's kind of a cheap trick,
Yes. That's
making you imagine what happened.
Yeah.
But, once was okay. Twice was really, guys, really.
Yeah. And then
the third time we did see, we don't know what happened, but we know what the outcome of it was that in the course of trying to break up with his girlfriend, played by Andrea Martin.
Maybe not break up with, but just reverse the plan of her moving in with him. Her and her 62 fish.
I have to think might result in a breakup, but okay. Yes. But he starts trying to very sweetly ask her to move back out, and then he goes to the White Room, and when he comes to, apparently he has proposed, or at least she's saying that that's what happened. Mm-hmm. She's pretty fishy in this episode, so
that is true.
Charles has maybe not such good taste in women because I think that this is the second one who is possibly up to no good.
Mm-hmm.
Though this is episode 4.
Yes, that
probably
was
not the murderer, or not the only murderer anyway. There could be 2 murderers.
That's true.
So a poisoner and a pusher,
elevator pusher.
What I think she probably definitely is the person who removed the mark off Ben's face, since she is a makeup artist, and left her lipstick in his room.
Right.
So
whether she used his lipstick to write something profane on his mirror, we do not know.
And whether she was the person in the recording or did anything nefarious, but they're certainly casting a suspicious eye on her, and Andrea Martin is playing it up in such a way that we are being led in that direction. How many fish does she have? Really?
She has 62 because 63 is too many.
But then she went to the fish store to buy more.
Right. Although what she bought at the fish store was a little treasure chest to entertain her fish.
Is that where the ring came from that she claimed that Charles had given her?
I was thinking, actually.
It's like, all right, he could go to the White Room and garble his language and somehow propose to her, but he would not have had a ring in his pocket. So that came from her. So, as maybe did the entire scenario. Mm-hmm. But Andrea Martin very... Go ahead.
Go ahead. You continue.
No, it's okay.
I was just going to go a slightly different direction and say that even though Charles has been struggling with the song, I have been singing it since I watched the episode. Except just the first line. Which of the Pickwick triplets did it?
It is very catchy, and it would be a very popular number in the show if Charles could be cooking an omelet while he was singing.
Constable's
got to eat too. Come on.
I know. And how about practice it with that and then ease it out later. Like, until Oliver, is it your first day? You need to just focus on the song, and then you can worry about him doing that. Doing the pantomime later. So
right. Yeah, it was very odd. But, it will be entertaining if Steve Martin is ever actually able to get through the whole thing, because it's funny.
Yes.
Not getting through anything at all in this episode is Loretta, who is much talked about, not seen. Meryl Streep, contractually obligated for less than the entire amount of episodes.
Apparently.
Paul Rudd as well, nary a flashback.
Yes. This is
not even a video. He's just talked about, not seen.
Right.
They have money. They don't have that much money. So it's like Cinda. It's like there was an extra zero and they said, no, wait. Could you do 8 episodes?
That's right. Yeah, I was surprised to see Cinda returning.
Yeah.
Or Tina Fey, whatever. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't realize.
Even though I don't necessarily feel that she's trustworthy, to be honest, Mabel needs a job.
She does. She needs some money. She needs those zeros on that paycheck.
And she can still be friends with the 2 old guys, and she can still do stuff with them, but, she has to live someplace. And
also, they're kind of busy. Like, they should be working on the musical, not the podcast right now.
Yes. But, doesn't one of them have a spare bedroom she could crash in? What good are they?
You would think, yeah. Maybe she doesn't want to.
That's true.
Charles has established that he doesn't do well when he has other people in his space. So it would need to be Oliver's.
Possibly she doesn't do well with other people in her space either. So
yes.
Think of all the paintings she could have done on that white apartment. Mm-hmm. See, if Mabel moved to another building, there would be all the more murders to
more murders.
Yes. It could be only murders in the buildings. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Each of them should really move to a different spot.
Yes.
Kimber is annoying, but probably not murderous.
Right.
And Andrea Martin has sure done a good job of making that character seem really sweet up until just exactly this episode.
Right.
In which she's pretty creepy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And dangerous seeming.
Right.
So
look out.
Yeah. Good thing they don't still have the parrot, because the parrot and the fish maybe would not get along so well.
Yeah, what happened to the parrot, though?
And was Lucy in the audience at the end of last season? I feel like she was.
I feel like she was also.
And I don't think there has been a single word said about her. Like, oh, she went home, or I put her in a cab, or anything.
Right.
Maybe there was a throwaway line in episode 1.
Yeah, could be.
Questions. We have questions.
We have questions. That's the way this kind of show works.
That's sort of the point.
I kind of wish, it's like they set someone up, they knock them down. They set them up, they knock them down. They set them up. Like, could we maybe find is there a different way to do this? I don't know. I enjoy it. It's fun to watch.
Well, maybe they're going to fool us, and it'll be the first person who is under suspicion.
Yeah.
And they'll say, you thought we were just setting them up to knock them down. But I do think there will be 2. There'll be somebody poisoned him, and then somebody different pushed him down the elevator. So that way they can that can be the twist, is that there are 2 culprits. Mm-hmm. But anyway, at least they set people up and knock them down entertainingly.
Yes.
And
same goes for the Afterparty.
Yes, which had really a very nice performance by Ken Jeong, playing all the different aspects of Feng, from sort of the buffoon to a businessman to somebody who sees this video and knows how bad it is for him.
Right.
And so good job to him. I've mostly just seen him being a comedian, but he did some good dramatic work there too, I think.
Mm-hmm. In this episode, I guess the theme or the unifying whatever was just like real world footage, right? Social media
quote real world footage. Unquote.
TikTok videos.
Yeah, so we were wondering last week if Feng was not wanting to be interviewed, how was this episode going to be about him? But it was literally about him on video.
Right.
Which he sat through and sort of made some explanations of. But.
Right. Yeah, so it was his videographer, Kyler, all of what he had shot.
Right. And some of it incriminating seeming.
But also he did have some explanations, and
yes.
I mean, obviously everyone does. But yeah.
But kind of sweet that though he seems kind of this blowhard business person, that really he's just trying to impress his wife.
Yeah.
Which is very sweet and kind of sad.
Mm-hmm.
So his wife, meanwhile, at Anik's prompting, which good guy to be doing that. You know, you might want to tell your daughters about your affair with their uncle before it becomes public knowledge.
Right. Given that I know and a lot of other people know.
Many people know.
Point.
And he's thinking also, please don't let me have to tell her. Please tell her yourself. I don't want to keep this secret from her.
No.
Maybe not so altruistic. Maybe he just didn't want to have to keep a secret.
Right.
But still, good that she does it. Since it's pretty common knowledge, or will be soon. Mm. And the girls took it pretty well after an initial ick.
Right. It does explain where he has been all this time.
Yes, it does. So that was a nice scene between the three of them, or a couple of scenes. They keep breaking stuff up.
Right.
And now our focus turns to Isabel. What
Elizabeth
did she
Perkins.
say? You're not going to get away with this about to Edgar, just serendipitously caught on the idiot's video. So that was convenient.
Yes.
So she will be our next. And it's about time.
Yeah.
They're wasting Elizabeth Perkins for 8 weeks.
Right. Well, and it is the second to last. So
that's right. So
only one will get the answer.
I don't know.
Soon.
Do you have a strong feeling as to whom it might be?
I don't. Do you?
No. I don't think I did the first time either. Did we know it was Ben Schwartz before it was him?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
So
I think the very last episode is Zoe and Vivian both.
It is.
So I think we can be pretty certain that it's not Zoe.
Yeah.
Although that would free up Anik to be single for the next one, but still. Go visit her in jail once or twice. But,
isn't he her alibi? Well, I guess nobody was in the room with him except Grace. So they all basically have the same, like they were all at the after party, hence the title.
And also the murder was possibly done by, if it's done by poison, then nobody had to be there.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Kill him.
Right.
Anybody could have slipped something into something. So.
Right.
But was it the blue pills that Isabel flushed down the toilet?
Mm-hmm. Was it the poisonous flowers?
Right.
That Hannah was growing? So
many possible toxins. If only they had like a, coroner to see. Somebody referred to this morning in this episode. So all this has been going on in one day. I feel like they've been there a week.
Right.
They've just moved into Isabel's house.
We have been there for many weeks.
And are being kept in house arrest somehow by something.
Yes.
By the order of the naughty detective.
Speaking of people we didn't see, Sebastian was basically not in this one. And
off doing
I think Hannah was like shown from afar, like barely glimpsed.
She was in a chair someplace.
Yeah.
But was Sebastian in the video footage somewhere? I think he was in the video a couple of times.
Yeah, just being like, and now the groom's uncle or what, or the bride's uncle. I think
he was eating some.
Oh yeah, and he didn't like it. He didn't
like it, but then he asked for it back, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
So he got a few lines in.
Yes, you're right.
He got his paycheck, but Yeah, it wasn't really... I mean, I guess in the pattern of this show, everybody was sort of there in the flashbacks somewhere or other.
Yeah.
But not so much in the present day stuff.
Right.
Although Isabel is trying to get rid of the suit of armor for some reason. Mm-hmm. Is that significant?
Do you want it? She just asked Sonique, do you want this? He's like, what? He does
do I
that
look like a guy who wants a suit of armor?
Yeah, he does that sort of like normie, like, how am I involved in this, part so well, I think.
Yes, he does. So, I don't know. It will be interesting to see.
Which is funny because, we've seen Sam Richardson just be so broad and comedic, like when he was in Ted Lasso, like I didn't even recognize him because
I know
he's
you didn't.
So different from Aniq. So
yeah, Aniq is his own guy there. Mm-hmm. But every time I see somebody flushing something down the toilet to eliminate evidence, I always think of that. What was that? Is it Sleeping with the Enemy? It was a movie with Julia Roberts where she escapes from her abusive husband and she flushes her wedding ring down the toilet for reasons. But of course it doesn't flush and it's there and he finds it and he knows she's not really dead. Mm-hmm. I guess pills would dissolve if they didn't all go down, so that's probably not a thing. But I always think, surely there's a better way to dispose of something than flushing it down the toilet, right? Especially like an object, but even seems always makes me nervous when people do that now after that movie.
Like try a garbage disposal at least.
You were going to pretend to drown. Why didn't you just throw it in the ocean? Julia Roberts, what's the matter with you? Mm-hmm. So, anything else we want to say about the after party?
I think we're ready to move on.
Okay, so next week on the after party, we will be watching episode 9, Isabel. Mm-hmm. And on Only Murders in the Building, we will be watching episode 5, Olive.
With punctuation.
Possibly all about the newly engaged couple.
Absolutely.
Charles, maybe just not so much with the girlfriends for you, man. And now we move on to Catherine's Library Find of the Week.
That's right, Terry.
What is up? You have put in our notes, don't click on the link. What?
Don't click on the link because I'm going to give you a quiz.
Are you?
Okay. Yes.
You didn't warn me about this in advance. I would have drank more coffee.
There's only one question, possibly two.
Okay.
So
short quiz. Pop quiz.
Yes. Children's nonfiction. Mm-hmm. There's something for everyone.
Yes.
And I really do mean everyone. We've already talked about the behind the brands for future marketing professionals. Yes. So this week I bring you a series from my former employer, Scholastic, that, prestigious publishing company. It is a series called Who Would Win? Uh-huh. And here's the copy from the site. Young readers and nonfiction fans will enjoy diving into the animal kingdom to discover which creature reigns supreme in author Jerry Pallotta's Who Would Win book series. This series teaches kids important animal facts and reading comprehension skills.
Does it also have like the death of small furry animals?
Well, you can be the judge of that, but it is about if they were fighting, who would win?
Golly.
So I'm going to give you 4 pairs of animals. And 3 of them are actual books in the series.
Does the ASPCA know about these books?
And one's not. So, okay, you ready?
I'm supposed to guess the one that's not from the books? Or am I supposed to guess
the one
wins?
that is... No. Okay. No. I don't know who wins. Because I didn't read any of these books.
I want to know how traumatic it gets, actually. You should have flipped through. All right.
So you just tell me. I will give you 4 pairs, and one of them is not a book in this series. Okay. Falcon versus Hawk.
All right.
Komodo dragon versus king cobra.
Aye.
Hyena versus honey badger.
Uh-huh.
or tarantula versus army ants?
Oh, man. Those all sound like things that children would enjoy reading about. What was the second one?
Komodo dragon versus king cobra.
Was there one, something versus a hyena?
Hyena versus honey badger.
Huh. And the first one was birds.
Falcon versus hawk.
Huh. I'll say that one's not from the series.
The falcon?
Yeah.
Buzz. Incorrect. The one that's not in the series is tarantula versus army ants.
Oh, that would be terrifying, though, and kids would love it.
Well, I cobbled it together from two.
Oh, okay.
There is green ants versus army ants, and then there's tarantula versus scorpion.
Hey.
So,
man, these could get ugly.
And yeah,
is there a warning label? If you are a sensitive
there's
child?
other titles. There's other titles in this series, including Triceratops versus Spinosaurus.
Well, I don't care about them. They're
Walrus versus elephant seal. And then they have said, this is going well for us. We're going to do the ultimate rumble, ultimate reptile rumble, ultimate ocean rumble, ultimate jungle rumble, where they take 16 animals from that kingdom or whatever and pit them all against each other and come out with one victor.
This is going to appeal to a specific kind of kid, and I'm not sure it's good to appeal that way. How did you get your start as a serial killer, Joey? Well, when I was a kid, I liked these books about animals killing each other.
Also, this is not the only series of its kind. Our friends over at Bellwether Media, the home of Behind the Brand, they have their own series called Animal Battles.
Oh, gosh. Which one is ripping off
that
which?
one? Yeah, I don't know which came first.
I don't think somebody
that comes
spontaneously has that idea twice.
We've got American alligator versus wild boar, Burmese python versus sun bear, golden eagle versus great horned owl, dung beetle versus tarantula hawk. Oh, did you know that there's such a thing as a tarantula hawk?
I would prefer not to know that.
A tarantula with wings.
No, thank you.
You know.
Mm-hmm. See, this little kid who reads this then goes and stages duels out in the yard.
Yeah.
You know, will this mouse and this squirrel, which one will win? And then soon the police are coming by.
Yeah.
Animal cruelty.
The Animal Battles looks to have possibly more titles than who would win.
Dear.
So,
does your child like picking the wings off flies? Do we have the books for him?
Well, they do have honey badger in this one, but it's versus a wolverine.
Oh,
so
Wolverine's pretty tough, pretty mean, pretty wily.
Yeah, but so is a honey badger. That's why they're a good match.
Are you old enough to remember the opening episode of Saturday Night Live and the skit about feeding your fingertips to the wolverines?
No.
Look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
But, all of you, look it up on YouTube. John Belushi
we'll
and
find a link.
Michael O'Donoghue. And look it up. If you just type in Wolverines SNL, you will find it. And every time I hear the word Wolverine, that's what I think too. I would like to feed your fingertips
that's
to
where
the
you're
Wolverines. I am old. Y'all, Saturday Night Live started when I was in high school.
And when you were in high school or even in elementary school, you unfortunately didn't have access to these book series.
I did not, but if I had access to it, it would have kept me up at night having nightmares just about the titles.
Right. You don't even have to read the book.
I was a delicate child.
Well,
I didn't want animals fighting. Do they have another one that's like animal romance?
No.
What would happen if a hyena dated a honey badger? What would their children look like? Would their parents object? Soap opera. Well, that was very disturbing, Catherine. And
just wait until next week, Terry. I got more.
You know, I think next week I may be busy. Maybe Nicole could call in. When will you be getting back to cute fire hydrants and
vegetables
wearing clothes? Can we have more vegetables wearing clothes? Or small animals wearing clothes? I'm fine with that. As long as they're not like ripping each other apart.
Yeah.
Very, very dangerous stuff. I don't know. Is somebody reporting them? That seems fishy.
Yeah.
Well, let's refresh our brains with a jaunty spin through our archives where we do not very often talk about animals harming one another. Only dogs and groundhogs.
That is true.
There's something in the bushes that our new dog, is very interested in, which makes it difficult to just leave her outside to do her business.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, don't go near the bushes. We have I believe it's a groundhog. It's a glorious looking groundhog, very attractive groundhog, who has dug a hole by our back fence so it can then escape under the fence into the high school area. And this groundhog enjoys that setup so well that every time my husband fills the hole up, this groundhog empties the hole back out. So we have just given up, but possibly the sight of a black dog that looks kind of like the dog that killed one of his kind. Yeah. Even though it's not the same dog. Looks pretty much like the same dog if you're on ground level with it. Maybe he will skedaddle. But what would happen if you pitted a groundhog against let's see, gopher?
Are those the same thing?
Are they? I don't think they're the same thing, are they?
I don't know.
One of them gets a day and the other doesn't, so.
It's true. Maybe a weasel.
A weasel. Weasels are wily, aren't they? But groundhogs have got some game. So we throw that idea out for free to the person doing those very disturbing books. And we don't want to know who would win. We're not listening. We're not going to the library. La, 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 la. So what were we talking about? 2 years, 3 years, and oh my goodness, 8 years ago when we...
Well, guess what? You won't be surprised to find out what it was.
What week is it we're in right now? Let me think. Is there something going on in the lives of most parents about now? Oh, yes. Again, as we did somewhat last week. Back to school, not for me, but for you in a different way.
Yes.
How's the packing going?
The packing is going pretty well. It's almost done, except for the part where I spilled a venti pumpkin spice latte on the floor right when we were getting started.
Oh, no. We'll be seeing a lot of that at school, so.
Yeah. So yeah, but, and the 8 years ago episode, was sort of our first foray among the podcast of kids leaving home.
Yeah.
It was about Nicole's Josh moving out.
Right.
And how Nicole felt unprepared for this event. Why didn't anyone tell me? Yeah.
Yeah.
She said it wasn't in the manual, and she was very annoyed that nobody sat her down and told her this is what happens.
Yes. And that it doesn't mean that then you don't have to worry about that child or have anything to do with that child. They'll just be gone, just like a birdie. Flew away. Yes. That's it. Now you can go back to thinking about only yourself. That is not how it works.
No.
Alas. But y'all have to tell me what it's like. Because my nest is well feathered. And I can't even get them to move to the nest downstairs. No.
Right.
Little birdie's saying, we're comfy here, Mom.
Right. You made it too nice.
Get us a worm, will you please?
Yeah.
Birdies are getting older. They're getting old. They're middle-aged birdies, and yet still here they are.
Still there.
But yours will soon be fluttering away. Sort of.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll never call you asking for things.
Not necessarily.
You gave your daughter your credit card, right? Is he going to be able to just charge things?
Well, she still has my Target card.
Okay.
So it's not the same as a credit
but still,
card.
You note purchases on there that you did not make.
Right. When I get the bill, I can see Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo. She has that, and she has a Costco card, but that's just to get her in the building. It doesn't.
Okay.
She can't spend with it. And then, of course, she has the Amazon password. She also can shop.
And what card are you giving your son?
Nothing.
Really?
I mean, he can use the Amazon password too.
Okay. Really, that's all you need.
Yeah. I mean, what else?
Unless you need something immediately, in which case you go to Target. But at Amazon, if you have Prime, they pretty much deliver immediately. Yeah. So, which is
yes, and apparently at the school they have an Amazon locker. I just heard about this.
They do.
So basically, when you're shopping, you address it to the locker.
Yeah.
The locker's name is Phil.
Didn't know the lockers had names.
This one does, and
sounds like
Phil.
one of your children's books at the library.
Yeah,
Phil, the Amazon locker.
Phil, the Amazon locker. So that they get like a QR code, and they go there and they get whatever you sent them.
Wow, that is neat.
I didn't really know that was a thing. There were mixed reviews among the parents about whether it's a good idea. Yeah.
Phil is not trustworthy?
Well, some said, that it gets too full and then they can't deliver it, or I don't know. Like
they've overfilled Phil, have they?
Yeah. Yes.
He's just one locker. He can only take so much. Have mercy. Maybe they need a Phyllis as well.
Yeah, they might.
Philomena and Philidia. A lot of students buying a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Can't just leave it to poor Phil.
I think it's because they basically have one mailing address for the entire school.
I can see the problem there. Everybody has to go pick up your stuff immediately.
Yeah, go get it. I mean, when my daughter went to school, she really didn't understand that you have to go check your mailbox from time to time. Like, just never did it at home because some adult always did it. Uh-huh. So
it'll just be letters from my mother. Who cares? Do parents still write letters to college kids? And do college kids write letters back? No. Texts. No. Emails.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Phone calls.
Messenger.
FaceTime. Yeah.
Okay.
But in my daughter's case, like sometimes my mom would send her like a card or, money. You have to actually get that from your mailbox.
Yeah.
So
you need to text them that you're sending the money.
Yeah, you do. You pretty much do. So.
Oh my. Things have changed.
Yeah. But the 3 years ago, it was back to school emotions was the topic. And it was because it was COVID time.
Oh, yeah.
And we were trying to figure out how kids were going to handle, returning in person, some of them, after being virtual for months at the end of the previous year, and how to get them to do their virtual work. And
right.
Oh, man. Glad we're not doing that again.
Yeah. That I was just, so thankful that happened after my kids were out of school, because it would have been really, really difficult.
Yeah.
Because virtual learning would have been not worked, and the lack of routine and the lack of tradition and the loss of the normal stuff would have been hit them.
And all the services.
Yes, and the services, absolutely. That would have been a disaster. And and was a disaster for many, many kids. I can't even imagine if, like, for a year or more, they had just said, well, no speech therapy for you, no occupational therapy for you, no physical therapy for you. We'll get back to you when it's safe. Well, yeah, I understand why you can't do it, but still, is there an off button for the development that we can just put it on hold for a while, and then it'll just be like no time lost?
Nope. Yeah.
We had years like that when my kids were in school for reasons much less good than COVID, but still. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have had some emotions at that time. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
One of the high points of remote learning for everybody would have been that Mrs. Morrow can't come into the school building.
Well, that was what we were talking about 2 years ago, was strategies for school, and yours was be there, be all up in their business.
Yes. And Nicole was like, no, I will not. I will not go on the field trip. I will not go to the back to school night. Just send me a note. But I'm like, how many things can I do? Can I go for her? Nicole doesn't want to go. Can I go to her back to school meeting? I want to be in the classroom. I want to see the stuff. I want to meet the people. I want them to be me. I want everything. I want to know. I want to be on the field trip and observe everybody. I want the library. Working in the library was my thing, which was the best. I still recommend it to parents. If you can somehow jimmy your work schedule so that you can volunteer in the library like at least once a week. You see things. It's very useful. People forget that you're not an employee and say things in front of you. It's great.
Right. And then you're not directly in your kid's business, but you're still gleaning a lot of useful information.
Right. Scholastic Book Fair works too. If they need volunteers for that, you can sell. You can see which kid picks up the animals fighting books and make sure your kid doesn't have too many play dates with that kid.
Yeah, the only thing about that is it's only for like a week or two.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's
It's a rich source for input because all the classes come in, so you can come eyeball everybody. But yes, library.
And that's an option if you can't do the, once a week or twice a week or whatever, if you could do the book fair instead. That's something.
Right. It's better than nothing. Yeah. Do they still have class moms? Or is that a thing that has gone by the wayside? Because they have the robocalls now for the closures.
Right. At my kids' school, they definitely had classroom volunteers, right? I mean, they had parents who would go regularly into the classroom and help. But there wasn't like one person in charge kind of a thing.
Yeah. Well, it used to be your responsibilities were to wake people up in the morning when school was closed and give them the good news. And also like bake things for parties, which has gotten treacherous.
Yeah. I remember in one of my kids' teachers, there was some kind of event and she wanted food. There was some party or whatever and she wanted food. And it was like this, she was like sending emails to the whole class and then people were writing back and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, can we try a Sign Up Genius? May I introduce you to the wonders of Sign Up Genius? So that was me who set that up.
Yeah.
And then I certainly hope that teacher made use of it from that point forward.
Yeah.
So, because you don't want to be sending 47 emails.
No, you do not.
Sign up.
Lots of times when I was class mom for my son's classes, they were self-contained special ed classes, and they're very small numbers and not a lot of parent involvement for various reasons. So I was kind of it a lot of the time. And I remember this one time, it was St. Patrick's Day. And the tradition at this school for St. Patrick's Day is that you bring in green bagels. So I, knowing that was the tradition, assumed that it was my responsibility to bring them in, and the teacher, never having had a class mom before, assumed it was her responsibility to bring them in. So I came to the room with my
there were a lot of bagels.
bag of green bagels, and she had hers all spread out really nice, and she saw mine, and she said, "Oh, I'll just give these to somebody else. We'll use yours." And it's like, no, it's really okay. But I felt so bad. It's like if I had just seen what was in there a second earlier and could have not.
Right.
Because she had it so nice, and I'm sure she had done that every year because there wasn't a lot of class moms in those classes. So, it can be treacherous. It can be, tricky over and above food allergies, which are now would make me terrified to do it. You can step on somebody else's tradition pretty easily. And
but from a place of being helpful,
a place of love. But I'm so sorry.
Yeah, my kids' school currently the elementary school that they went to, they do a lot on Facebook too, of just announcements and that sort of thing that apply to the entire school. But I remember that too was like a big deal, just because another parent and I wanted to set up a Facebook page for this exact reason, like that's where people are and this is how you can communicate. Right. And it was like, Facebook, what? I mean, this was 10 years ago. So
privacy. People
were panicked.
Yes. There was nothing like that when my kids were in school. I think when they were in high school, they started, that's when they started having the parent portal. And then they also, I guess that's what it was. They started having just like some sort of online way to contact people, but the teachers weren't paying attention to it.
Right.
So there wouldn't be any, they would have to create, the teachers would have to create a website for the class and there would be nothing on it. And you would send a message and nobody would answer. And it's like, in about 10 years, this is going to be cool. But right now, it's being done over people's dead bodies. And therefore,
they're not doing it.
Somewhat lacking.
Yeah.
It was college before there was really a useful one.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm so glad not to have to deal with any of this stuff anymore. And I wish
But you were so good at it.
I was so good at it. I lived those years hard.
Yes.
So now I can relax.
Now you can just look back on
and I never still argue with people in my head. No, why would I do that? I don't still remember that one speech therapist. No, I've let it all go.
Yeah.
Quite emotionally healthy.
Blissfully beyond it.
If I were on an episode of Only Murders in the Building, I would say something that would make people think I was suspicious.
Well, it's a good thing you're not there. And you have a podcast to say those things on.
That's right.
But we'll get you out of it now before it gets any worse. That's it for the parenting roundabout.
I love teachers, roundup. Nicole. It's all fine. It's all good. No hard feelings at all.
You can find all our episodes on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. You can also talk to us on our Facebook page, on Instagram, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat. And please visit our Amazon shop at amazon.com/shop/mamitude, where you can find links to a lot of the things we've talked about over the years. We'll see you back here next Tuesday. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Goodbye, everyone.